Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive in, make sure you drop your thoughts and the lessons you took from this story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. My name is Aaron, and I was standing near the kitchen counter at Marcel and Keisha's place, nursing a beer and talking about last weekend's game with a couple of guys from work. It was one of those casual Saturday night gatherings. Nothing fancy, maybe 20 people, good food, and a playlist humming along just loud enough to keep the energy up without drowning conversation. The kitchen smelled like roasted chicken and herbs. Someone had set up a cheese board that looked like it had taken a degree to arrange. My wife, Janelle, was across the room with her usual group, laughing a bit too loudly after her third glass of wine. I noticed her glancing at me every few minutes. She had a particular look when she was about to do something she thought was clever. Chin high, eyes sparkling like she was center stage and could already hear the applause. Then she stood up. "Hey everyone, can I get your attention for a second?" The room hushed in that awkward, curious way parties do when someone tries to make an announcement. Marcel turned the music down with a quick twist of the dial, eyebrows raised. Keisha stopped mid-laugh and rested her drink on the mantel, her smile caught between polite and apprehensive. Janelle had this huge smile on her face, the kind that makes your stomach tighten if you know her well enough. "I just want to make an announcement. Just so you all know, we are in an open relationship now." Dead silence. 20 pairs of eyes angled toward me. I could feel what she wanted. She expected me to get embarrassed, to stammer, to beg her to stop. She wanted the dramatic scene where I scrambled and she glowed with brave, modern enlightenment. That was her production. But her production required me to play my assigned role. I took a slow sip of my beer, set it down on a coaster, and looked directly at her. "As you wish." Her smile flickered for a fraction of a second, just enough that anyone watching closely could see the wobble. Before she could say anything else, I turned to Ayana, who was sitting on the couch to my right. Ayana was one of Janelle's friends, although that term had started to feel loose lately. Tall, confident, with sharp eyes and a wit that snapped when it needed to. She was single, successful, and never seemed to buy into Janelle's dramatics. "Ayana," I said, keeping my voice casual, "are you free this Saturday? I would like to take you to dinner." Ayana did not hesitate. She looked up at me and let a slow, deliberate smile spread across her face, almost like she had been waiting for the right cue. "I can do everything better than she can." The room erupted. Someone dropped a glass in the dining room, and it shattered. Marcel muttered, "Oh man," under his breath. Keisha's mouth fell open. A couple of people covered their lips with their hands, eyes wide, while the rest examined their drinks like they were suddenly the most fascinating objects in the world. Janelle froze. That confident smile evaporated, replaced by alarm. Her face shifted through shock, anger, disbelief, and panic in a loop. "What? What are you doing?" Her voice trembled. "Are you actually going to go out with her?" "Accepting your terms," I said simply. "You wanted an open relationship. So, we have one, starting now." Ayana stood, smoothing her dress, still smiling. "Saturday works perfectly. I know a great Italian place in Hyde Park. They make their pasta by hand." "Wait, no. I did not mean—" Janelle started, but I cut her off without raising my voice. "You announced it to everyone here. 20 witnesses. You meant it." Janelle looked around the room for backup. No one volunteered. A few people were visibly trying not to laugh. Most were trying to appear invisible. "This is not funny," she snapped, voice rising. "You are absolutely right," I said. "It is not funny at all, but it is what it is. You made the rules. I am following them." Ayana grabbed her jacket from the back of the couch. "I should head out. This turned interesting fast." She looked at me. "Text me the details for Saturday." "Will do." She walked past Janelle without even glancing at her and headed for the door. As she left, she called back. "Thanks for the party, Marcel. Always entertaining at your place." The door clicked shut behind her. Janelle was still glued to the spot, her expression flickering from one emotion to the next. "Can we talk outside?" she managed, her voice shaking, suddenly small. "Sure," I said, picking up my keys from the counter. We walked out to the driveway. The moment we were out of earshot, she grabbed my arm. "What was that? You asked out Ayana. You were actually going to go out with her. You announced we have an open relationship in front of everyone. So yes, I'm going to go out with Ayana. That is how open relationships work, right?" I was joking, she blurted. It did not sound like a joke. It sounded definitive to me. She started pacing, running her hands through her hair. You were being ridiculous. You know I did not mean it like that. Then how did you mean it? Because from where I was standing, you told a room full of our friends that our marriage is now open. You did not ask me privately. You did not discuss it. You announced it like it was already decided. I wanted to see how you would react, she said, the words slipping out like she had not intended to reveal them. You want to test me, I said. You wanted to embarrass me, see if I would plead or make a scene. Maybe you wanted an excuse to do something you had been planning anyway. Her eyes widened. That is not. Save it. I kept my voice even. We both know what has been going on. The late nights. The way you talk about Maurice from your office. The constant hints about other couples who explore options. You have been building to this for months. She opened her mouth and then closed it. No denial came. Here's what is going to happen, I said. You want an open relationship. Fine. We have one. But that goes both ways. You do not get to set the rules and then change them when you do not like how the game is going. This is insane, she said. No. What is insane is making that announcement at a party without talking to your husband first. What is insane is expecting me to sit there and accept it. I walked back toward the house to grab my jacket. Inside, the party had deflated. People were collecting their coats and mumbling thanks to Marcel and Keisha. Conversations had shifted into those careful, soft tones reserved for hospital waiting rooms and funeral parlors. Marcel caught my eye as I headed for the door. He did not say anything, just gave me a slight nod. It was hard to tell if it was respect or sympathy. Maybe both. I drove home alone. Janelle stayed, probably trying to spin a version of events that put her in the best light. The house felt too quiet when I stepped inside. I sat on the couch staring at the off television, thinking through the last 6 months. None of this was a surprise. Maybe not this exact scene, but the drift was obvious. She had been different, more distant, more critical, always pushing and testing. I had been comfortable and slow to react. My phone buzzed. A text from Ayana. Just so you know, I meant what I said. Saturday sounds great. Also, she had that coming. People have been waiting for someone to call her bluff. I smiled despite myself and typed back, Saturday at 7. I will pick you up. Janelle came home around midnight. I heard her pull into the driveway, then the key in the lock. I was still on the couch, the television on silent this time, light flickering over the walls. We need to talk, she said, dropping her purse on the counter. Go ahead, I said. She sat across from me, trying to compose herself and not quite making it. Her makeup had smudged at the corners of her eyes. What happened tonight was completely out of line. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. I laughed without amusement. I embarrassed you? That is rich. I'm serious, she said. You asked out Ayana right in front of me, right after I made a simple comment. A simple comment? You announced to a room full of people that we are in an open relationship. That is not a comment. That is a declaration. I was tipsy, she said. I was not thinking clearly. You had 3 glasses of wine over 2 hours. You knew exactly what you were doing. She softened her tone and leaned forward. Baby, please. Can we forget this happened? I made a mistake. I am sorry. No. What do you mean, no? I mean, no. We are not pretending this did not happen. You do not get to drop a bomb like that, and then wish it away when you do not like the result. Her face hardened. So you are really doing this? You are going to go out with Ayana? Yes. She is my friend. Was your friend? I corrected. That friendship ended the second she said she could do everything better than you. And honestly, she probably can. That landed. Her jaw tightened. You are being cruel. I'm being honest. You should try it. She stood and began pacing. This is ridiculous. You cannot just start dating other people because of one thing I said at a party. Watch me. I will tell everyone you are having an affair, she threatened. I turned off the television and looked her in the eye. Go ahead. Tell them. Tell them about the affair you announced I'm allowed to have. She realized the trap. Her mouth opened and closed with nothing coming out. Here's what I think happened, I said, standing. You have been testing how far you could push me. Maurice from your office. Those late-night messages. The way you bring him up in every conversation. You wanted permission to cross lines without guilt. Fine, she snapped. Fine. Yes, Maurice and I have gotten close. But nothing happened. I was trying to be honest about my feelings. By announcing it at a party. I asked, That is your version of communication. I thought you would understand, she said. Other couples do this. They explore. Other couples talk about it first. They do not ambush each other in front of their entire social circle. She was crying again. With her, tears often came packaged with strategy. It was hard to tell where sincerity ended and performance began. So what now? She asked. You were just going to throw away 7 years of marriage because of one fight. This is not one fight. This is months of you being distant, critical, and dismissive. This is you talking constantly about how boring monogamy is, about couples who keep things exciting. You have been stepping out in everything but explicit action. Tonight you just made it official. That is not fair, she said. Life is not fair. You taught me that tonight. I went to the bedroom. I'm going to sleep. We can talk more tomorrow, but my answer is not going to change. You set the rules. Now you live with them. Where do I sleep? She asked. Guest room or the couch, I said. Your choice. I locked the bedroom door. Not because I was afraid, but because I needed a firm boundary. The lock clicked like a punctuation mark. My phone buzzed again. Ayana. I'm guessing she did not take it well. That is an understatement, I replied. Want my advice? She asked. Sure. Do not back down. She has been walking over you for months. Everyone noticed. This is the first time you have stood up for yourself. Keep standing. I stared at that message and felt a weight lift in a way that surprised me. Everyone noticed. It made sense. I had been too focused on trying to keep the peace to register how much dignity I had been surrendering. The next morning, Janelle tried a new approach. She made breakfast, acted sweet, hummed along to a quiet radio station like we were in a commercial. I ate in silence, thanked her for the food, and left for work. She called 6 times during the day. I let them all go to voicemail. By the time I returned home, she had shifted to anger again. You are being childish, she said as I put my bag down. This silent treatment is immature. This is not the silent treatment, I said. I just do not have anything new to say. She crossed her arms. So that is it. You are really doing this. Yes. Fine, she said. I'm going out Friday night, since we are in an open relationship now. Have fun, I said and meant it. That caught her off guard. She had expected jealousy, a storm. I walked into the kitchen and started chopping vegetables for dinner. You do not even care, she demanded, following me. You announce we are open, I said. I accept it. What you do with your time is your business now. But here's the thing you did not think through. It goes both ways. She did not have an answer. She shook her head and left the room. Friday came. She dressed carefully, spent too long on her makeup, checked her reflection 10 times, and left around 8. I ordered pizza, watched a movie, and went to bed early. She came home before midnight. I heard quiet crying through the wall later. 7 years together means you can recognize the rhythm of someone else's sadness, even through drywall. Saturday morning, I hit the gym. When I returned, she sat at the kitchen table with a mug clasped in both hands. How was last night? I asked, pouring coffee. I did not go through with it, she said quietly. I met Maurice for drinks. We talked, and I realized I did not actually want to do this. Okay, I said. Okay, that is all you have to say. What do you want me to say? Congratulations on not cheating. You do not get a medal. I want you to cancel your date with Ayana, she said. Not happening. Why? If I did not go through with mine, why should you go through with yours? I sat across from her. Because mine is not about Maurice or retaliation. This is about respect. You disrespected me publicly, tried to humiliate me, and then acted surprised when I refused to play along. Dinner with Ayana is not revenge. It is me drawing a line and keeping it. She stared into her coffee. I messed up, she said. Yes, I said. You did. Can we fix this? I do not know. Maybe. But not by me canceling tonight. At 6:30, I showered and dressed. I pulled on a shirt she always said was too nice for regular nights. That made it perfect. When I came out, Janelle was on the couch, arms crossed tight. Have a good time, she said flat. Thanks, I said. Do not wait up. Ayana answered her door in a simple black dress, hair loose, minimal makeup. She looked like herself, no obvious performance. Right on time, she said, slipping on a jacket. I like that. Punctuality is one of my few virtues, I said. She laughed. I doubt that is true. We will see. The drive to the restaurant was easy. No forced small talk. The chatter flowed. Work, Absurd Chicago weather. How Marcel's parties always seemed to tilt into drama. The city slid by outside in streaks of streetlights and winter-gray storefronts. So, she said as we waited for our table, how bad was it after I left? Pretty bad, I said. She tried every strategy. Tears, anger, bargaining, more tears. Let me guess, Ayana said. She later claimed she was joking. First thing she said. Ayana shook her head. Classic. Make a power play. Pretend it was harmless when it backfires. You have seen her do this before, I said. Not exactly this. But yes, she said. She tests people. She pushes and watches who folds. She paused, then added, I have wondered for a while why you let it go on. I wanted to make it work, I said. That can look like passivity from the outside. The hostess called our name and led us to a booth in the back. We ordered drinks and a bowl of olives that tasted like they had been blessed by salt itself. Ayana leaned forward, lowering her voice without making it conspiratorial. Can I be completely honest? Please. I never liked her that much. We met through mutual friends 5 years ago, and she was always exhausting. Everything felt like a scoreboard. When she started dating you, I actually felt bad for you. Do not hold back, I said, half a smile. You said I could be honest, she replied with a small grin. But seriously, you always seemed like a decent man who was not being appreciated. And these last few months, the way she talked about you when you were not around was disrespectful. What did she say? I asked. A slow knot formed in my stomach. No, say it. Are you sure? I'm sure. She would call you boring, Ayana said. Say you never wanted to do anything exciting. Claim she settled. And Maurice's name came up constantly. Maurice thinks this, Maurice did that. It was obvious where she wanted it to go. I took a sip of water and let that sit. I figure as much, I said. It just hurts to have it confirmed. I know, Ayana said. But here's the thing. None of that holds up under scrutiny. You're not boring. You're stable. That is different. You are respectful. You pay attention. You are steady. She wanted a fantasy, not a partner. Our food arrived. Fresh pasta that steamed and smelled like comfort. We spent the next hour talking about music and movies and family oddities. Ayana told me about her older brother, Louis, who lived in Detroit and insisted on calling every Sunday at 9 in the morning. I told her about my mother in Baltimore who mailed me newspaper clippings like the internet had never been invented. So what is your plan? Ayana asked over a shared tiramisu. Are you trying to make your marriage work, or are you done? Honestly, I do not know yet, I said. Part of me thinks 7 years should mean something. Another part of me knows you cannot respect someone who thinks humiliating you is a strategy. Fair answer, Ayana said. For what it is worth, I think you already know. You are just not ready to say it. And what do you think I'm going to do? I asked. Leave eventually, she said. Maybe not today. Maybe not next week. But once you feel what it is like to be treated well, you cannot unfeel it. She was not wrong. The ease of the evening felt like a revelation. What about you? I asked. Are you seeing anyone? No, she said. I have been single for a year. The last man I dated had a fragile ego and a calculator where his heart should be. His loss, I said. That is what I tell myself, she said, smiling. I am good solo. Rather be alone than have to shrink. I drove her home after, and when we pulled up to her building, she turned to me. Thank you for tonight. I had a genuinely good time. Me too, I said. Really? Can I give you advice? Friend to friend. Sure. Whatever you decide about your marriage, make sure it is for you, she said. Not because of guilt or obligation. 7 years is significant. It is not a life sentence. You deserve respect more than you need a history. Thank you, I said. She got out, then leaned back in through the open window. And if you ever want to do this again, no pressure, no expectations, let me know. I will, I said. When I got home around 10, Janelle was waiting on the couch. She took one look at my face, and her expression collapsed. You actually had a good time, she said. It was not a question. Yes, I said. I did. With her, she said, as if the pronoun could absorb the reality. Yes, I said. With Ayana. She wrapped her arms around herself like she was cold. So what now? You're going to keep seeing her. I do not know, I said. Maybe we are friends. We had dinner. That is all it was. Do you hear yourself? You went on a date with my friend. Former friend, I said. And I went to dinner with someone who enjoyed my company and did not make me feel small the whole time. She flinched. That is not fair. You want to talk about fair? None of this is fair. But it is happening because you made it happen. You set it in motion and are upset I did not react on your script. I did not think you would actually go through with it, she said. That is the problem, I said. You thought you could control the reaction. You never considered I might accept your terms. Tears gathered again. Are you in love with her? No, I said. I barely know her. But I like her. I respect her. And she respects me. That is more than I can say about us lately. So we are done, she said. I did not say that, I said. But we are not okay. I went to the bedroom. I want to sleep in my bed. She could take the guest room. I could feel her watching me as I closed the door. My phone buzzed with a message from Ayana. Made it home safe. Thanks again. You're a good company. You too. I typed back. Let us do it again sometime. Deal, she wrote. Good luck with whatever comes next. You have got this. Monday morning came with a text at 6 o'clock from Marcel. Dude, Janelle just called Keisha having a complete meltdown. Said Ayana is trying to steal you. Just heads up. Thanks, I replied. Appreciate it. By lunch, I had 4 missed calls from Janelle and a dozen texts that ricocheted between apology and accusation. The last one said, we need to talk tonight. This is serious. Fine, I typed. I will be home by 6. I got home at 6:15. Janelle was at the dining table with her laptop open, papers spread out. Her eyes were red, but her jaw was set. Sit down, she said. What is all this? I asked. Our finances, she said. If we are really doing this, we need boundaries. Ground rules. I laughed. Now you want rules. I'm trying to fix this, she said. I'm trying to make it work. No, I said. You're trying to control the situation because it is not going your way. She slammed her hand on the table. Stop acting like you're the victim. You're the one who went out with my friend. You were the one rubbing in my face. I went to dinner once, I said. Meanwhile, you've been emotionally tied up with Maurice for months. This did not start with me. Nothing happened with Maurice. Yet, she said. Nothing happened yet. But you wanted it to, I said. That is why you made the announcement. You wanted permission. She stood abruptly and paced. Fine. You want the truth. Yes, Maurice and I have chemistry. Yes, I thought about it. But I was trying to save our marriage. By announcing at a party. I asked. That is your idea of saving things. I thought if we opened things up, we could explore and come back stronger, she said. Other couples do it. Other couples communicate before they make public declarations, I said. They do not blindside each other. She grabbed her phone and scrolled. I found a therapist who specializes in non-traditional relationships. We can talk to someone. Figure this out. I do not want to make this work, I said. The words surprised me as they came out, but felt true the moment they existed. She froze. What? I do not want to make this work, I repeated. Not like this. Not anymore. You are giving up? Just like that. Just like that, I said. This has been building for a long time. You made the announcement because part of you wanted out and could not say it. That is not true, she said, but there was no force behind it. Why did you do it then? I asked. Give me one good reason. She opened her mouth and nothing came out. Silence. You wanted permission to explore while keeping me as a safety net, I said softly. You did not expect me to actually take you up on it. You expected me to fight for you. Classic move. Stop analyzing me like a case study, she said. I am your wife. Are you? I asked. Because partners do not humiliate each other in front of friends. She sat, deflated. So what are you saying? You want a divorce. I'm saying I want to talk to a lawyer and understand my options, I said. What happens after that, we will see. You cannot be serious, she said. I'm serious, I said. The next morning, I called in sick and drove across town to a legal office in the Loop. The attorney, Ms. Whitaker, listened to everything without interrupting, then asked, Do you have any children? No, I said. Joint accounts. We have a shared checking account for bills. We both have separate savings. Property. We rent, I said. The lease is in both our names. It is up for renewal in 3 months. She made neat notes with a steady hand. That simplifies things. How long have you been married? 7 years, I said. And you want to pursue divorce? I thought for 2 seconds. Yes. She spent the next hour walking me through the process, what to gather, what to expect, what my rights are. It was methodical and strangely comforting. The emotion had drained out. The logistics remained. I left with a folder, a plan, and a quiet mind I had not felt in months. When I got home, Janelle's car was gone. I used the quiet to sort things. What was mine, what was hers, what we had bought together. The list was shorter than I expected. It was depressing how separate our lives looked on paper. She came home around 7 with takeout bags. "I got Chinese," she said. "Your favorite. Can we have a normal dinner and talk like adults?" "Sure," I said. We ate in a heavy quiet. The clink of chopsticks and the hum of the refrigerator felt loud. "I saw Ayana today," she said finally. "Okay," I said, cautious. "I went to her office," she said. "I needed to talk." I set down my fork. "And she told me we were not friends anymore," Janelle said, voice cracking. "She said I've been a terrible friend for years, that she's glad someone called me out." "What did you expect?" I asked. "You announced an open relationship." I asked her out in front of everyone, and she accepted. That friendship ended in that moment. "She said other things," Janelle whispered, "about how I have treated you, about how everyone noticed, about how I am controlling and manipulative." "Is that what everyone thinks?" "Probably," I said. I did not enjoy saying it. It still needed to be said. She looked stricken. "How can you just sit there and say that?" "Because it is true," I said. "You want me seen as fun and spontaneous, but you are exhausting. Every interaction has an agenda. People are tired. I am tired." She swallowed. "So you have made up your mind." "I talked to a lawyer," I said. "I filed the initial paperwork." The color drained from her face. "You what?" "We are getting divorced," I said. She stood so fast her chair scraped and toppled. "You cannot do that. You cannot decide without talking to me. Like you could not announce an open relationship without talking to me." I asked. "That is different," she said. "How?" I asked. She had no answer. Tears spilled again. She stood there shaking, and I felt nothing resembling triumph. Only a dull quiet. "I will sleep in the guest room," I said. "We can sort out the living arrangements this week. The lease is up soon." "This is insane," she said. "You are throwing away 7 years over one mistake." "It was not one mistake," I said. "It was 7 years of small cuts that led to one public wound. The worst part is I'm not even angry now. I am done." I walked to the guest room and closed the door. My phone buzzed. "Ayana. She came by today. She seemed unstable." "You okay?" "Yes," I typed. "Just filed. It is getting messy." "Need anything?" she wrote. "Coffee? Someone to talk to?" "I am okay," I wrote. "Thank you." "Anytime," she replied. And I meant what I told her. "You deserve better." "Working on believing that," I wrote. The next few weeks blurred into paperwork and difficult conversations. Janelle alternated between pleading and threatening. Neither moved me. What surprised me most was the response from friends. I expected a split. Instead, almost everyone reached out to me privately. Marcel called one night. "Man, I've been waiting for you to wake up for 2 years. She's been talking down to you in front of everyone." Keisha texted a long apology for not saying something sooner. "I want to tell you how she talked about you behind your back. I just did not know how." Even people on Janelle's side called. Her cousin, Patrice, said she was not surprised. A co-worker, Sylvia, mentioned that Maurice had rejected Janelle's advances weeks before the party. That explained the timing. She did not want an open relationship. She wanted validation after a rejection. Ayana and I met for coffee one afternoon. No pretense. Just 2 people in a sunlit cafe with good beans. "How are you holding up?" she asked. "Better than I expected," I said. "Turns out everyone knew how bad it was except me." "You were not blind," she said. "You were trying to make it work. That is different." "She is telling people I abandoned her," I said. "That I gave up without trying." Ayana snorted softly. "Let her talk. Anyone who was at the party knows the truth." The process moved quickly. No children, minimal shared assets, a lease near the end. Ms. Whitaker said it was one of her smoother cases. Janelle tried one last maneuver. She showed up at my new apartment with tearful apologies. "I can be better," she said. "I can be the wife you deserve." "Maybe you can," I said. "But not for me. That ship sailed when you turned our marriage into a performance." "Because of one mistake," she said. "Because of years of them," I said. I stopped pretending I did not notice. She left without another word. 2 months later, the divorce was final. I kept my car, my savings, and my peace. She kept hers. We split the furniture we had bought together and walked away. Ayana texted the day the papers were signed. "Congratulations on your freedom. Drinks?" "Absolutely," I wrote. We met downtown at a low-lit bar with a competent bartender who understood that a simple old-fashioned does not require theatrics. "So what now?" she asked, raising her glass. "Now I figure out who I am without someone narrating it for me," I said. "That is the best answer," she said, and we clinked glasses. I did not know what came next. Maybe something would grow with Ayana someday. Maybe not. Either way, I was free to find out on my own terms. 6 months after the divorce, I ran into Marcel at the grocery store in Hyde Park. "How is life?" he asked, tossing a carton of eggs into his cart like a dare. "Good," I said. "Actually good." "You look different," he said. "Lighter." "I am," I said. "Turns out not walking on eggshells is good for you." He laughed. "Heard she moved to Colorado. Fresh start." "Good for her," I said. "I hope she figures herself out." And I meant it. I did not hate her. I just did not think about her much at all. Ayana and I stayed friends. We got dinner once a month. We texted about work headaches and awkward family news. It was simple. No games. One evening over pizza and a lopsided local jazz trio in the corner, Ayana said, "You know we are never going to date, right?" "I know," I said. "Good," she said. "I like what we have. No complications." "Same," I said. "Besides, you did help blow up my marriage." "Your marriage blew itself up," she said. "I just provided the match." We laughed. It was true, and it was not cruel. It was clean. I focused on myself for the first time in a long while. I went to the gym regularly, picked up old hobbies, reconnected with friends, taught myself to cook something besides 3 reliable dishes. I dated a little. Nothing serious. I learned what I wanted. Respect, consistency, curiosity. No tests. No performances. A year after the night at Marcel and Keisha's, he hosted another gathering. Same house, same crowd, minus one person. Someone asked where Janelle was, and the question floated for a second, and then dissolved because no one really cared about the answer. I stood in the same kitchen where that first bomb had dropped, a beer in my hand, talking with people who actually listened and laughed without calculation. Ayana was across the room telling a story about a client who had insisted on faxing her a photo of a computer screen. She had the group in her palms. Later that night, driving home down Lakeshore Drive, the city lights blurring and reshaping around me, I thought about that moment when Janelle made her announcement and expected me to crumble. I thought about the quiet certainty that moved me to turn and ask Ayana to dinner. It was the best decision I have made in years, not because of romance, not because of revenge, but because for once I chose myself. The party that was supposed to humiliate me ended up setting me free. I would not change a single thing. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.